Pardon my French.
Stop watching TikTok.
Ow! Today I'm with my sister Jordan, and we're gonna do the It's Finally Fall book tag. So we got this idea because, of course, Paperback Dreams, aka Kat, did it, and
you like Kat?
yeah, we do.
Big fans.
Big fans, big fans. And I was inspired to be tagged.
Okay.
I'm tagging myself.
Got it.
Okay, so this tag was created by Alina, Milena. My armpit itches. Ooh. In fall, the air is crisp and clear. Name a book with a vivid setting.
I have Never Let Me Go by Kazuo Ishiguro.
I second that.
Yeah. It's honestly, I think it's in my top 3 favorite books of all time. The concept's beautiful. It's beautiful. The writing is beautiful. The scenery is beautiful. I guess I should tell you about it. It is a book.
And there's mossy rocks.
There's mossy rocks. It's a book. It takes place in the English countryside, and it follows a character named Kathy H, like from her adolescence to adulthood. And when she's a child, she lives in a boarding school, and then she lives in some cottages, you know, cottagecore's really in right now. And then she essentially lives in a hospital, and I don't want to say much more than that because it'll give away the plot twist that's given away on like the first or second page. But if you've never read the book before,
I didn't really figure it out on the first or second page. It like alludes to it, but you gotta really use your noggin, and then finally it's like they cleared up.
Yeah, so there's some spooky vibes to it, but it's also like a coming of age contemporary.
I didn't think it was that spooky.
Really? I think it's one of the scariest books I've ever read. Like I said, it's set in the English countryside, and the way that it's described is so vivid and beautiful. It makes you want to live there, even though things that are happening in the book are pretty terrible. I still want to live there because it was
really pretty. I'd want to go to that school.
Yeah, the aesthetics were there.
They really were. Make Peregrine's home for peculiar children. Wow, vivid. Next question.
No. Really?
Fine. It's a book written by the one, the only, Ransom Riggs. It is one of my favorite series of all time. I recently reread it because they came out with a new book, which I didn't know. I was just strolling around Target. There it was, and I was like, whoa, I need to go on the internet more often. So Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children also take place in the English countryside. Well, I guess it's not a countryside.
It's a cliffside.
Yes. But it kind of feels like, because they're in the woods, which I really like. I would like, wow, the places that book takes me, I'm like, I want to live there and, you know, be a peculiar child.
Nature is beautiful, but also dying. The Lorax. Name a book that is beautifully written, but also deals with loss or grief. Ooh, I have Sleepwalking, which is by Meg Wolitzer. We actually just got another book by her when we went thrifting. What's it called?
We did.
It follows these 3 girls who live on a college campus. Each of them worships a different dead female poet. They get together, worship them, call themselves the Death Girls. It's really great. But it also talks about how that's, you know, maybe not the healthiest thing to do for your brain. It's a super slow and dreary book that talks about grief in a way that's like grieving what your life could have been instead of grieving like an actual person.
I do that a whole lot
too, and I feel like that's not something that happens in books very often, so to see a storyline like that, I really enjoyed, you know.
I guess. My choice for this one of death and grieving is The Goldfinch by Donna Tartt. So the main character is Theo, and we follow him from the age of, I think, like 12 all the way through adulthood. And the beginning of the book, he's a victim of terrorism, and his mom dies in that terrorism attack. So the whole book is him figuring out how to deal with his mom's death, and then his dad's also an alcoholic, but it deals a lot with how he grieved his mother. And then, I'm not gonna say the twist, I almost did. It's not a twist, because it's not a book that has a twist, but I almost leaked a vital part that I didn't see coming. Well, okay, I saw it coming, but I didn't see it coming where it came. Fall is back to school season. Share a non-fiction book that taught you something new.
My non-fiction pick is a book called Feminists Don't Wear Pink and Other Lies, and it's curated by Scarlett Curtis because it's actually a collection of like essays and poems and lists. It's not written by any one person. There's a whole bunch of like historical facts and statistics and things about feminism that I didn't know, but my favorite part about it was learning about how other people came into their own beliefs. Anyways, I really liked the book. I thought it was really well done. She has actually a podcast that accompanies the book where she interviews quite a few of the people who wrote for the book on the podcast. Highly recommend.
My choice for this one is Furiously Happy, which is a memoir by Jenny Lawrence. So I read this one a really long time ago. I read it in like 11th grade. I don't really remember, so I'm going to read you some of the back of it.
I already tried reading the back of this book. It's mostly just quotes from other people, like Brene Brown being like, "This is great, changed my life."
Yeah. Okay, so basically it's a memoir about, it says a funny book about horrible things. It is. It's how she copes with her mental illness, and it's pretty much, it's a memoir, but I think it's really funny the way that she describes her mental illness and
Very
how
relatable.
she deals with it. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of stuff about raccoons.
In order to keep warm, it's good to spend some time with the people that we love. Name a fictional family, household, friend group that you would like to be a part of.
The Raven Boys.
Surprise, surprise. Okay, for this one, it's really hard for me to choose because there are a lot of fictional groups that I would like to be a part of. The one that really came to mind for me, though, was the friend group from Red, White, and Royal Blue by Casey McQuiston. It consists of Alex, the first son of the first female president of the United States, his sister June, their best friend Nora, who also happens to be the granddaughter of the vice president, and then Henry, who's the Prince of England. And essentially the book follows them and their friendship, and I just love the way that they interact with each other. They're a lot of fun. They're also super smart, and I'd like to hang.
The colorful leaves are piling up on the ground. Show us a pile of fall-colored spines.
Ooh.
Spines.
Ew.
Spines.
That's also really hard because we mostly just read library books.
Yeah. I see a couple. Orange, nice burnt red. Kind of like tomato sauce. Orange and red. Fall.
What are they?
Ooh, glad you asked. The Book Thief by Marcus Zuzak. The Tale of Desperate.
The Tale of Desperate.
Yeah, I know, it went on for a lot longer than I was expecting. It has a description. Being the story of a mouse, a princess, and soup and a spool of thread. I take Clamo. That's definitely not how you say that. Kate DeCamillo. Okay. The Curfew by Jessie Ball, which, big fan. And then we already talked about Furiously Happy by Jenny Lawson. I forgot to include what I learned from Jenny Lawson's Furiously Happy, and that is this. It is a way to describe to other people, sometimes people who don't have mental illness or are not neurodivergent, or those who just might want a better way to describe how they're feeling. And it is this. Each day, everybody is given a set number of spoons. And each task that you have to complete during the day costs you spoons, such as brushing your teeth costs a spoon, saying good morning to your mother costs you a spoon, going to school takes 10 spoons. So, everyone's getting a set number of spoons, but sometimes people with mental illness or who are neurodivergent are given less spoons than the average gal or guy or pal. So, when they don't have as many spoons, they might be out of spoons right after they brush their teeth. Then for the rest of the day, they can't do anything. And I think that's a very good explanation for mental illness because sometimes you can't shower, because brushing your teeth took all your spoons. So this is a way that me and my friends use to communicate to each other so that we don't think that we hate each other when we don't text each other for days, because we just say, hey, can't talk to you right now. I'm out of spoons.
Fall is the perfect time for some storytelling by the fireside. Share a book where someone is telling a story. I went with Untamed by Glennon Doyle. It's about becoming untamed, no longer living in the constraints of society. It's really good. I heard about her on Brene Brown's podcast. Went on hold for the book at the library.
I'm still on hold.
Yeah, it was like a 6-month wait.
Mine's still 6 months and I've been on hold for about a month.
Finally got it and it's really good. I like it. Big fan.
Well, I am going to interpret this question as a book that's using first-person narration, and for that, I'm going to choose the book that I just finished rereading last night. I think it was like the third time I read it. It's my favorite book, called How to Set a Fire and Why by Jesse Ball, which is also who wrote The Curfew, which was in the Fall Colors one. He's actually a poet, but he's written a few novels too, and I really happen to like those 2 novels of his. Haven't read his other ones. I don't seem that like I would like them that much. Anyways, How to Set a Fire and Why. It's about a girl who sets fires, and why? Arson. Yes. I think it's really good. It talks, like, the way that she tells it is like she's telling a story about her life after her dad dies and her mom is put into a mental hospital. And it's really cool because it's one of those things where she also doesn't conform to society, and she's like
We like those.
Yeah, she just really doesn't follow the rules, and then happens to become an arsonist, which I think is so cool. Love a good high school aged arsonist. The nights are getting darker. Share a dark and creepy read.
For this one, I have The Lottery by Shirley Jackson. It's actually a short story. I literally can't tell you anything about it without giving absolutely everything away, but I can tell you that I read it in 4th grade. Big mistake. I still think about it at least weekly, and that was a lot of years ago, so you should read it. It's super, super eerie and very scary.
I know what it's about.
But don't tell anyone.
Okay, it's a secret. Go read it. One that I think about almost every day, which is now a Netflix movie, which I didn't even know was going to be a Netflix movie.
Wow, I can't believe I didn't pick this one.
Yeah, I'm thinking of Ending Things. I read it sometime last year, or the year before. She claims it's last year, but Ian Reed.
Yes. And the movie is directed by the same person who directed Eternal Spotlight of this Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
Okay.
Which is a big deal.
I don't know what that means. Anyways, so I think I read that book like 1 or 2 years ago, and I think about it almost every day. I still have dreams about it because it just really freaks me out that much. Like, it's not necessarily, no, it freaks me out that much.
Yeah.
It's not like nightmares about it, but I think about it almost every day.
Very thought-provoking. Both of these are they make you use your brain in ways that you may not want to. The days are getting colder. Name a short, heartwarming read that could warm up somebody's cold and rainy day. I would say The Perks of Being a Wallflower by Stephen Chbosky. Yes, there are some terrible things that happen in the book. However, it makes me feel so good afterwards.
I read it this year for the first time.
Yeah.
I cried all night. Not just like a single cinematic tear. Full on sobbing.
Yep.
Not very heartwarming. Sobbed. I couldn't sleep. My shirt looked like I just jumped in a lake. I was sobbing.
But found family.
Sobbing.
I just thought it was very nice and realistic.
Okay, I guess I was technically sobbing because of the found family.
Yeah, but you can be sad in the moment and still find it, like,
it's
heartwarming. It doesn't...
It is. I really do like the found family part, and that's honestly why I cried. Is because it was a heartwarming sort of cry.
Yes.
But I still sobbed.
Yeah.
I made noises whilst crying. That's not something I usually do.
I feel like heartwarming is the wrong word, but that's the one they're using. But it makes me feel nice.
Some type of way.
There we go. That's how it makes me feel.
I'm actually seconding that. I think that one's mine too. Fall returns every year. Name an old favorite that you'd like to return to soon.
Ooh, I do. I have one for this, and Bailey knows exactly what it is. Twilight. So I haven't read Twilight since it was super popular when I was like 12, 11 maybe even. I think I was in 7th grade because the books were in the restricted part of the library and you had to get your mom to sign a permission slip to read them. So mine did. I remember, like, I knew they were bad. That didn't mean I didn't like them, but everyone else talked about how fantastic and good they were, and I was like, no, this is a cringe read for me. I do love it, but this is bad, and I want to reread it now to see how bad it is. Yeah. Because if I knew it was bad when I was 12, I don't know what I'm gonna think now, and I'd really like to know. This year I've been rereading a lot of books, feeling very nostalgic. Yeah. Because I graduated high school, so that's a thing to be nostalgic. So I've been rereading a lot of books. So I'm running out of books to reread. That's a lie. The one that I want to reread is another nostalgic read for me, and it's The Mysterious Benedict Society. I reread that this year. Wait, you did? Mm-hmm. They're making it into a show, I think, for Hulu. Don't quote me on that, but they are making it into a show, and the script for the show is really good. I loved those books when I was in elementary school. Basically what it's about is you take a test.
isn't it? You take a test and then you can get into these special things. And Nicholas Benedict, who is like a super wealthy, super smart guy who runs a boarding school for super smart kids that are like, or super tactile, whatever, gifted children. And I think it's so
Scrappy
cool.
children.
Yeah, I think it's super cool and I love it. And I forget the girl's name, but she always carries around a red bucket.
Fall is the perfect time for cozy reading nights. Share your favorite cozy reading accessory. Coffee.
Coffee.
Yeah, coffee is my favorite food, drink, accessory, time of day. Oh, Joni is a very good cozy reading companion.
So is Lorelai, except for when she tries to eat your book.
Joni totally farted.
Ooh, Joni.
She did.
That's not great. Shouldn't have given her a bite of my quesadilla.
I gave her a compliment.
She got nervous.
She's a good companion.
So are our fuzzy animals. Lorelai and Joni and coffee.
That's it. Last question. Your turn.
My turn. Spread the autumn appreciation and tag some people.
We're not gonna do that.
I don't have any friends.
What we are gonna do though is mention like 3 channels that we've really been
Watching a lot
obsessed with lately that aren't, you know, Paperback Dreams, Noel Gallagher.
Yeah.
Smaller YouTubers. Our first one, let's see. Ooh, we have been living The Pretentious Poet. She just put out a book review of Loveless by Alice Oseman, and it's so good. It seems like she's been on BookTube for years with the review that she gave.
Yes. I really want to read that one.
Yes, yeah, me too. But she's been on there for a few days. Found her videos. Big fans here.
Another one that we really have been liking is Reading Elf.
Ooh, yeah, I like her.
Yeah, so she's really good if you are looking for some good LGBTQ plus reads, and also her accent's cool.
I've also seriously been loving Olivia's Catastrophe. She does the coolest videos. Like, she just did one where it was like she recommended books based on bookmarks. Okay.
That's so fun and creative.
It's so fun and creative. So we've really been enjoying them. We'll link their channels down below if you want to check them out. Do you have anything else to say?
Happy fall, y'all.
Maybe not that.
Oh. It's the most wonderful time.
No, it's this Christmas.
Yeah, well, I don't like Christmas as much
This
as I
is
like
Halloween. This
October.
is Halloween. Then why are you singing Christmas music?
Because it's the most wonderful time of the year.
Oh, I
Boil,
get it.
toil and trouble. Something wicked this way comes.